Welcome to Friday Vibes. No script, just chat. We talk all things food and beverage, and so much more. Feel our vibe and search for Friday Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And make sure to give us a 5-star review. Now your hosts, me, Alex Bear with Genius Juice, and Wade Yeti. All right, welcome to episode 59 of Friday Vibes. I am your fresh off the Expo West week co-host, Alex Bear, CEO and co-founder of Genius Juice. And to my left, but pointing to the right, back over there, somewhere there, we're still figuring this out, even 1 year later. Wade Yeti, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Although I got to tell you, I'm off to a rocky start here because I'm trying to share this like I usually do, and it's not giving me the opportunity to do that. Believe it or not, it's not. The screen's either cut off or something. It's very bizarre. I haven't seen this happen before.
Interesting. Well, that's what happens when it's live, my friend. Is things never go as planned. They actually go opposite of what you think is going to happen. So we'll figure it out as we go. No script. Yep. Just chat. Even if you don't share it, I mean, I think we're broadcasting at least on Roku or CNN or something. They'll find us that way. They'll find us that way.
In between March Madness and everything else going on, that's certain to happen.
Exactly.
Right?
We've got a newfound budget. We have a couple $1 million in the bank now. We don't, but let's pretend we do. We use that money to get some sponsorship and to get some ads on national television, because you know what, more people need to find out about Friday Vibes, right? We got to get beyond LinkedIn to the masses.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. All right. So we have some comments coming in, and okay, I want to make sure the comments were we can hear you, and it looks like they can. Okay, that was the first step. Everything's working. Second step is hope everyone had a wonderful Expo West, the ones that went to Expo West, and the ones that didn't go to Expo West. We hope you had a wonderful time doing whatever you were doing. Couple laundry list items we're going to talk about here is first off, 5 stars. We are at 78. At least that's what I saw a couple days ago. 78. Wade is grabbing something.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna verify that just to see, just in case, just in the event that we've had some kind of addition here over the last few days. But let's see.
Yeah. And he's a fact checker here. That's what he's doing.
Do you know how I'm going to find that, Alex? I'm going to go to Apple Podcasts. And I'm going to hit the search bar, and I'm going to type in Friday Vibes, and boom, there it is.
There it is. 78. Am I right?
It is 78. You're correct.
There we go. So we are 22 away from 100. Go to Apple Podcasts. Everything that he just said, give us 5 stars if you haven't already. Once we get to 100, we'll be ranked probably in the top 3, maybe top 2 as far as CPG podcasts. Once we get to over 160, we'll be trumping another show that we really like, but we'll have more reviews than them, more views than them, and that makes us number 1. So we always got to be, if you're not 1, you're last, right? That's what I've always learned growing up.
If you're not first, you're last. That's correct.
So the other thing, if you'd like to be a sponsor on our show, right now it's free, but we cannot claim it's always going to be free. Make sure to email FridayVibes, plural, 100@gmail.com. And then our awesome Vibeman, Kanisha, call her Keen, she will send you a form to fill out to apply to be a sponsor. If you'd like to be a guest, wait in line. A lot of people in front of you, but if you'd like to apply, send us, again, an email, FridayVibes100, and you can apply. There are some requirements for that. So make sure to don't be disappointed if we don't accept you, but we hopefully can. So please apply there. We are booked through, I think, the summer by now for guests. So it's super exciting. Also, I don't have it pulled up, but Wade, who are some guests that are coming up in the next month or two?
Let's see. We have coming up shortly. Let me find I got to get to my guest pile there. Oh, I'm telling you, I'm having technical difficulties. There we go. We have coming up, we have David Greenfeld with Dream Pops.
He's an awesome guy. Saw him at Expo. You saw him at Expo.
Yep. We have Dylan Seglio with Chubby Snacks. We have my good friend Steve Black, formerly president of Rouse's, and now kind of doing his own thing and has a book coming out, doing speaking and motivational things. Steve Black. Then we have Adam Brown coming up in May.
Yep.
We have Tom Malengo with Brandjectory coming up in May.
Longtime sponsors of the show.
Yep. And we have Tyler Watson with Dano Seasoning coming up. So those are who we have on deck right now. And you never know, we might have a surprise there, here and there, but that's what's on the agenda here in the coming weeks.
Yeah. And that's booking us through basically half of summer going into later part of summer. So it is, you have to be patient with us. If you do want to be on the show, we do accept you, but we will definitely work to get you in. If we both like you and think you're cool and have a great story and product, that's the only requirements, plus 5,000 followers on LinkedIn, a bunch of other stuff, but let's not get into numbers right now. So yeah, man, a lot to talk about, but first I just want to do some shout outs. I want to get to the people and recognize them for the ones that are making comments. That's what we do on this show. So make a comment, we shout you out. We got Rich Moniz with Rich Insights. Happy Friday to all. Tom Malengo, who we mentioned, a longtime sponsor from Brandjectory, and will be on our show, as mentioned, on May 26th. That's 2023, not 2024. It's this year. So he says, hi, everyone. Happy weekend and St. Patty's Day. It is St. Patrick's Day. You got the green on. I forgot the green.
Yes, I do. I have some green. I'm giving you a virtual pinch right now, Alex.
Yeah, I've got to figure something out. I'll put something together. I'll stitch something together during the show. I'll multitask. LinkedIn user, which we'll find out who that is. Sometimes you can't see who they are.
Derek.
That's Derek Brawley. I'm loving my Friday Vibes t-shirt. Might take it canoeing this weekend. Right on, brother.
That should have been a giveaway. The canoe should have been a giveaway, Alex.
Totally. It'll be a Prana branded canoe. And also, like, they should have maybe a net. He can give away a net where he uses to pick up all the trash in the rivers, because that's what Derek does.
Right.
Context: he goes out, he goes into nature, he goes canoeing, and he literally picks up trash that he sees in rivers and in naturey areas to make it cleaner and better. If everyone did that, the world would look very different, Wade. I guarantee you that. Very different.
Absolutely.
So let's see here. Gavin Conkle, live on True TV here. How you doing, buddy? Good seeing you. We're going to get into the Expo West stuff because that's the big topic of discussion. Another Rich Moniz. Thank you for getting on your wife's account. Every review counts. I sincerely see it.
Your kids, just you name it. We're not too proud. All votes, all ratings count.
Yeah, you know how, like, when presidents, when someone runs for president, they're like, every vote counts. That's a bunch of bullshit because it's electoral. But in this case, right, like, like California, there could be 5,000 more votes for Republicans and Democrats will still win. Or in Texas or red states, there could be 10,000 more votes for blue and red will still win. Not every vote counts, but in this case, every review counts. So, Daniel Caccione, what's up, guys? I can never pronounce your last name, so please correct me phonetically how to say it. Julie Elder, happy Friday. Didn't get to see any of you at Expo. Hope you're doing well. Looks like someone didn't make it to the Friday Vibes happy hour.
I think his name's pronounced Daniel C.
Daniel C. Like that.
C. Yes.
Much better.
Yeah.
DC.
There you go.
Couple others. Sarah Delaney, happy St. Patty's Day. Benjamin Arts, ready for another awesome episode. Billy Jackson, William Jackson. I found out his real name at Expo. How's it going, brother? And that is it. So, all right. So we're here fresh off last week, Expo West, Anaheim Convention Center. A lot happened. We had, a Friday Vibes happy hour where Wade was mixing, the Genius Coladas for people. We had a big turnout, over 80 people that kind of rotated in and out. So that was really great. Thank you, everyone, for coming out to see us, to share in the laughter and the joy and meet us in person, because a lot of you we haven't met in person, having some drinks, getting some t-shirts from us. The lucky 18 first people got Friday Vibes t-shirts. So, but Wade, tell me, Expo, your review, how you liked it, what you saw, anything.
Man, I saw a lot. So Tuesday and Friday were basically travel days, right? Tuesday I came out, left Greensboro East Coast time at the plane left just after 5 a.m. East Coast. Got over there, did a couple store tours, got to see Billy and Jason at Jimbo's, hit some markets in the San Diego area before we worked our way up, checked in the motel. And as a lot of people know, I stayed in Irvine, right? Because I registered late. So I was not really super close, and ended up taking a shuttle back and forth that the Expo team provided. And so the funny thing is everyone else on my team stayed right there at the Marriott or close, whether the Marriott, the Hilton, one or the other. And I was, excuse me, I was going to go for dinner Tuesday night, and I pulled up my phone, and the Uber ride was going to be like $75, and it was going to take about an hour to get there. And I'm like, nope. I just shut it down. I had a hot dog, a bag of sour cream Lay's, and a Diet Coke in my hotel room Tuesday night. And then Wednesday and Thursday, I caught the first shuttle out, which left at 7 a.m. So I think Wednesday I left at 7 a.m. and got back around 10:30. And Thursday I left at 7 a.m. I think I got back just after midnight. And so they were super long days. And then also I think between those 2 days, I put in 26 miles between the 2 days. So it was a lot. My takeaway was it was just extremely busy. Saw a ton of people. Didn't have as much time as I would like to actually look at products per se. I think I left the majority of that up to my team. I was focused on meeting a lot of people here from the show and a couple of service providers that I had some interest in, and just some connections that I was looking to touch base with. But it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. Wednesday especially. That what was the tent? That was the
Fresh Ideas tent.
Yeah, the Fresh Ideas. That was just a zoo to get into and get around.
Yeah,
I mean, just crazy. I think if constructively, I understand why it's kind of split up and certain areas are open on certain days. But man, if they could open everything both days so that people could kind of filter around and not just be so concentrated in only those small areas that are open on Wednesday, it would be very, very nice, because speaking for myself, obviously I left on Friday, so I was trying to jam as much as I could into Wednesday and Thursday, and it made it hard Wednesday to get through what was open, and then Thursday I was trying to tackle everything that wasn't open on Wednesday, and it was a lot. What were your thoughts?
Hey, there's a lot there. I wanted to start with a question because this was your first Expo West and also your first trade show before becoming extremely famous. You're already somewhat famous, but extremely famous.
I was going to say I was just at Unify in Orlando in February, so
that's right.
Yeah,
another show.
Yeah, right.
So I'll correct what I said. The first like large trade show. I mean, Unify is large, but I'm talking just like national people, I guess. Unify is all that too, but all right, your second one, or maybe your third. So, but something where you came out to the show, a lot of people know you already through what you're doing now, but also from this show. So right. I had my experience on all the conversations, being known through LinkedIn, through this podcast. How was it for you walking around? How often were you stopped? Because I would argue you're recognizable, right? You're not the tallest guy, you're not the shortest guy, but you're very recognizable by how you look. So what happened? How often were you stopped? Was it overwhelming? Tell me more.
I was stopped quite a bit, and it was really cool to be stopped by, people that either I hadn't connected with or wasn't really extremely familiar with. There were people that are just fans of the show that either don't participate in the chat or listen to it after the fact, and I might recognize the name or the company, but didn't know personally, as well as some of the people here that are popping up in the chat. Those names and faces I pretty much recognize. And the other thing is a lot of times, probably myself included, because I've got a cartoon face on here. Your LinkedIn, that little small picture you see on LinkedIn, seeing people in real life, quote unquote, they don't necessarily look just like that picture. So a lot of times I'm looking at name tags and say, oh yeah, it's that's who that is, obviously that's not a bad thing or anything like that. It's just that you look, you're recognizing people by that little icon. It's tough. So that was cool. But yeah, I got stopped quite a few times. I had my picture taken with a few people. It was just really, really super cool. I cannot complain at all. It was a great feeling. And then the happy hour. I didn't get to talk as much as I would have liked to because I was too busy making sure everybody was they were dehydrated while they were there. So I had to quench their thirst. Yes, I had to quench their thirst. So that was kind of my priority there. But it was just a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think, I mean, it was 2 days. It went by really, really fast for me. I mean, the first thing I came out the gate making a mistake. I thought the first on Wednesday where the North Hall opens, right, but not the main hall as you were talking about before. I thought it opened at 10 a.m. So I I came in at 8:30 a.m. thinking, oh, it's going to open at 10. I get an hour to get something to eat, get some water, meet up with you and a few other colleagues that are there early. And then I look at the schedule as I'm rolling into the parking lot. Right, I'm already locked in. I'm in the parking structure. I'm not going to leave and it says North Hall opens at noon. I'm like, I got 3.5 hours of just, I know the area. So like, I don't really need to wander around. But the good thing was that the Fresh Ideas tent was open at 11. So that kind of helped me a little bit from not just being aimlessly walking around for 3.5 hours like a homeless guy or something like that. So yeah, you're right. The Fresh Ideas tent was insane. It snaked, I think, probably in 5-10 different directions. That's how long the line was. Took about 30 to 40 minutes just to get in because nothing else was open. Everyone was there early. Nothing else was open. Just the Fresh Ideas tent. I was in line with the BevNet guys, so that was cool. I was able to give Ray and John Craven our new wellness shot, our genius shot. And so they took some pictures of it, put it on their Instagram. And that was cool to get their feedback on it. Maybe not. They might be a guest. Who knows? I'll leave that to suspense. And you're right. Yeah, the North Hall was inescapably indefinitely slammed for at least the 2 days. I went Wednesday, Thursday. I didn't go Friday. That it was really hard to navigate through there. That's how busy it was. Almost no one was wearing masks. Not complaining about that. It's just we've all moved past COVID, and it seems like it's kind of like the first show that felt, at least for me, that felt normal. Like I didn't have to think about COVID. I wasn't concerned about being around people. I was having normal conversations, high fives, fist bumps, hugs, everything. And so that seemed to be the case at the show. I did not make it to the main. I made it to the hall A, I made it to the third floor with you. Where we saw Gavin, which I will mention. I was thinking of not mentioning it, but I'm going to mention it. Just kidding. We love you. We met with also the founder of True Beverage, True Drinks, with Gavin. But I didn't really make it almost at all to the main hall. I was so busy meeting with people. I was so busy going to North Hall. I was walking outside a lot. I love walking outside. I met a lot of people around the fountain for meetup because it's a lot easier to find someone at a landmark versus meet me on aisle 700 or 1200 with 1,000 people in that aisle. It's just hard to meet up with people in that way. Besides that, I felt about 3 days after still tired. I don't know about you, but it's not like you're spending a lot of hours there, but you're just talking a lot and putting out a lot of energy, and there's not a lot of downtime. And in my, I'm famous in a way, right, on LinkedIn and from this podcast because of all the fans. Thank you. And I was stopped every 2 minutes, every 2 minutes. And sometimes I was on my way to a meeting and I'm like, thank you so much. I appreciate it, but I got to go. Like, I'm not blowing you off or anything like that. I got a lot of comments about my KHE post. Ton of people said, I'm not going to talk about it too much on the show, but thank you for posting about KHE. Thank you for being brave and mentioning all the challenges that brands are having with them. So I got a lot of random people that I didn't even know that stopped me that says, you don't know me, but I know you. I read your post. And all the Friday Vibes fans that stopped us saying, keep doing what you're doing. We love it. So it was rewarding because, I discovered that many more people than I really knew were watching or listening to the show. And they got a lot of value out of my posts, out of your posts, and out of this show. So overall, good. I didn't go Friday. I had a golf tournament on Friday, which is I really wanted to go to the Expo West on Friday because that's a key day, right? Like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday is a sample day, just people with luggage cases, just taking all the samples they can get. But there's a once a year tournament that's Friday. I'm rambling, but I'll finish right after this. That it was raining all day on Friday, and the tournament was in Long Beach, and they did not cancel the tournament. I weighed 10 pounds heavier after the tournament because my clothes were so wet. Played in the rain. Golf is a whole different game in the rain. I will say that. I'm not going to go into it's a totally different game in the rain. Everything's hard. I didn't qualify, unfortunately, but I was there Friday in Long Beach. So anyway, in 5 minutes, that's the recap.
I was going to say, touching on a couple of things you said, that had to be crazy. I can't even imagine golfing because I was virtually a zombie on Friday. My flight out was around noon. Had a little bit of a layover in Dallas. Got back here to North Carolina almost. By the time I got home, it was almost midnight, and of course my sleep was all messed up. I'm used to the West Coast time, and then and then we had the time change on top of it. So it was, I see a couple of comments coming in about Gavin and Billy. So it's good to hear from some of them young bucks that they, it hit them hard too, because especially us on the East Coast. And doing it that quickly, leaving Tuesday, coming back Friday. So you basically have 2 travel days. You didn't really have time to get acclimated to the time change. And, excuse me, there's just a lot. And speaking of the COVID thing, I think I said it a couple of times while I was out there. If COVID's a thing, we all got it because the way those crowds were packed, we were all spreading all kinds of germs amongst ourselves. So I feel like it did come back with a little tickle or something, but all in all, I feel good. It's been Monday and Tuesday still. I was still having trouble adjusting sleep wise, but I think I'm about back to normal now. So a lot going on.
For sure. I mean, you got and outside of what you do day to day, you closed on a home, which you announced a week or 2 ago. So you had that going on while traveling, while handling all the fame and fortune of being there at Expo West with your famous, persona. So I can imagine it was extremely draining. Yeah, it took me about 4 days. I mean, I live in Redondo Beach, so I literally I could dress the night before, roll out of bed, hop into the carpool lane because I have an electric car, and I could get there in 42 minutes, 45 minutes maybe. And so it wasn't hard for me, but I can imagine anyone who's traveling by plane, you're in a hotel, you have to freaking Uber back and forth. You have to pack your bags, go get there, come back. It's just, plus you have all the samples you're carrying. So I'm sure it's a lot harder. It is a lot harder when you're traveling. It was a lot easier for me. So yeah. So I think what I loved about the show is it was successful. Like it was a great, it was to me, out of all the I look at all the LinkedIn posts and I agree. This was the best Expo West I've ever been to. And now I've been to 7 of them or 8. I've been in business for 9 years with Genius Jew. We have, but this was the first one where it felt normal. There wasn't a concern of COVID. There wasn't a lot of masks because masks make everything harder because you can't hear each other. I didn't really hear of a COVID outbreak. I didn't hear people getting sick. So I think successfully people were able to healthily get through the show and feel good after, besides feeling drained. And the number of brands, I saw a lot of really cool brands, functional brands. There's one brand I saw called Element, which is like a functional drink in a can. It was in North Hall. I don't know if you saw it. It was on the first floor. I know you didn't have a lot of time.
I'm not positive.
But that one really stuck out to me. It was like adaptogen, kind of nootropic-y with botanicals, super clean. 4 SKUs or 5, and I tried them. I'm like, these are fantastic, and I felt the effect after. There was like one for focus. There's one for this. Where else? There's Dr. Bronner's. Oh, the booth that I really like going to was Urban Remedy. That one was a lot of fun.
Yep.
The booth itself wasn't that great. It was kind of like an underdressed booth. I think they were in Hall A, I believe. I can't remember exactly where they were, but they were giving out their new Sun Squares, and they're freaking delicious, man. Like they're so good. And I'm like, I checked at Whole Foods, they're like $3 a piece. I'm like, I'm gonna grab like 10 of these, like because they're so expensive. So and they gave it to me. I'm like, hey, can you give me more? Because I love your product. I eat your bar every day. I've never tried the Sun Squares. The Sun Squares have sunflower butter. So it tastes like peanut butter, but it's sunflower butter with cacao, Himalayan pink salt. Fucking delicious. So I wanted to stop and reset the room though, because we have some new comments that came in. And I want to hear about a couple brands, Wade, unobjectively, that you saw that caught your eye. But let me just read some comments here, because we're all wondering, where did Wade go? What booths did he go to? What products did he like? What products did he not like? But let's go to some comments. First thing is Chuck. You got Chuck and Czar listening while stuck.
I said that sounds like a radio show, Chuck and Czar, right? It's like Chuck and Czar in the mornings on I don't know, WRQK or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna one up you because that's what I do sometimes. Like the Jerry Seinfeld show, comedians getting coffee in a car.
Right. Yep.
These are distributors getting stuck in LA traffic.
There you go.
So, are you guys driving the Czar's like super muscle, like like freaking hot rod, super speedy, fast and furious car? Or are you driving like a normal car, a regular car? Tell us. All right. So Gavin, sounds like there's a hefty amount of post-show sickness going around. I didn't hear too much of it, but I guess there is. I didn't personally. No one told me they got super sick. I think there's sick and then there's tired. Like. Yeah. Because when you're so tired and you put so much energy out and you have lack of sleep and you're out there all day, you could get sick just because your immune system is down, right? And no one coughed on you. You just get sick because you're tired. So that I think could be part of it there, right? Like when I get a headache, I'm like, I wonder what it was from. My wife's like, from working too hard. So Tia Franzone, just want to make a note that Gavin, okay, his name is Gavin now, is missed, but I'm beyond happy for him. Gained a mentor and homie for life with us at Blackbird. So that's right, Tia at Blackbird. A couple more comments here. Let's see. Are you going to Expo East? This is Jeremy Asakarian. He is the co-founder of 7 Teas, right? Which is a fantastic tea product. And another one, Gavin Conkle. My first few years there with Fresh Time, I can remember staying out till 4 a.m. and back in 3 hours. Those days are so over, not 27. How about try 40? Or for Wade?
50.
50.
Yes.
Let us know how you feel when you're 50 at Expo West. I mean, I will say, Wade, you had a ton of energy at the show for how long you were out and the traveling. So I commend you for that, brother. You hung in there, and you went to the startup CPG alley rally. Like you left it all out there at the show.
Yeah. I think I left part of me there as I'm thinking about it, but no, it was looking at it from an aspect of you don't know when you're going to see a lot of these people again. You got to kind of suck it up and do your best, and that certainly was what we tried to do, and just had a great time. That was a super event. Got to see Parker, got to see Bilal, got to see Bilal's brother Khalil, got to see Kirk. Dave Delacourt and I walked from the Hilton over to the event, which was a fun little excursion. But with us, got to get to know Kirk a lot better, and just a super guy. Had a lot of fun with him, and Dave Delacourt and I think he and I kept each other somewhat in line. If you call driving on the wrong side of the road fine. We weren't driving; we were walking, but we kept each other in line. Got to see the folks from Kakata, just a lot of people, and it was a lot of fun. So good times for sure. And so you mentioned a couple brands that I liked, and I'm not going to mention anybody I didn't like because I like everybody. I just don't carry everybody. But some of the ones that I would call out specifically. Hooray Foods, the coconut bacon, the plant-based bacon. Not my thing normally, but really enjoyed that product. I mean, I thought it was really super tasty and really super close to them. There's a product called New Breed, which was
New
also,
breed.
yes, it
I
was,
remember seeing that. What is it?
it's also plant-based, but they had this Jamaican jerk plant-based chicken, and the plant-based stuff is a dime a dozen right now. And I made the joke when I came back that I saw plant-based tea and I saw plant-based tomato juice and plant-based paper bags. But that product, for me, a lot of the plant-based stuff, especially meat, I have issues with texture. As far as it just doesn't feel good to me. As being a meat guy,
Mhm.
and that product, I actually like the consistency of it and enjoyed it. So those two come to mind. And then obviously, I spent some time, at the different halls and whatnot, and some of the booths, some of the money, and some of the visuals and hard work that these people put in these booths, like the Belgian boys one comes to mind.
Mhm.
The LA Libations had a huge thing up there. I spent some time talking to Danny and up along that run. I mean, that whole area up there was just full of energy when I was there. I was through there Thursday, I don't know, early afternoon, just right around lunchtime, and it was just so crazy. It was music, and I think it was right around the time that Jennifer Garner was going to be there and Emma Chamberlain. I think I left. I got out of that area before Emma got there, but just so much energy, and you could just tell that vibe and just everything that was going on. So those are some of the ones that come to mind. And Gavin, friend, buddy aside, I really did enjoy his product, the True product. I had multiple cans of it while I was there, and really did enjoy it, the taste of it, and like that as well. So, it goes without saying, Balani. I think I ate more stuffed flatbreads than I should have, but
Mhm.
it's
Never
hard not.
enough. It's never
Well, it's
enough.
hard not to, because between the taste and Bilal and his mom and brother shoving them at you, you're kind of obligated to do it. So it was a lot of fun.
Cool. Another couple. It's awesome feedback on the show. I didn't make it to Hall E at all, which was one of my biggest regrets. Instead, I was in the rain, doing this once a year tournament that I hated that it landed on Friday, especially no less on Expo West. But heard about the Sprouts Innovation Area. I heard a lot of brands that want to be in Sprouts went there. So big thank you to Danny Stepper and LA Libations. He was an impromptu guest. That's one way to get on the show, is just to
That's right.
give out your cell phone number and say, get me on here right now. Like, tag me in. But it was cool that he did that for the brands to find an easier pathway to get into Sprouts and their innovation, the kind of hot products of tomorrow. I forget the exact program name, but they offered that. They had multiple booths for Sprouts in Hall E, which was the basement. And unfortunately, yeah, I didn't make it to the basement at all. I was in North Hall for a day and a half, and then I had a 2-hour meeting with our advisors, investors, and partners outside in the beautiful sun on a lawn in front of the convention center. So that's why I didn't make it to everything. So a couple of brands I just want to point out as well, I'd be remiss not to, is Chris Young at Pocket Latte. It got renamed to Pocket Chocolate, and they have these delicious chocolate covered almonds that have like Asian, because it's an API based
Right.
company. So there's it's Lynn and there's Lynn and then Chris Young. They are the co-founders of Pocket Chocolates, and they have like matcha. They have a yuzu flavored one. They have a black sesame one. They have a Vietnamese coffee one, chocolate covered nuts, freaking delicious. Just go to pocketchocolates.com or pocketlatte.com and you can find it there. What else? What else? Yeah, those are the main ones. I want to also just thank everyone again, and also Bilal. Yeah, I mean, I went to his booth, had a little bit of flatbread, really, really good. So, happy hour. Want to thank everyone for coming by the happy hour on Thursday. There must have been like 30 happy hours going on, dude. Like,
There were a lot. There were a lot.
yeah, and we're so like just flattered and grateful that you chose to go to ours. We had almost 100 people there on, through the entire 2 hours we were there. And there was like a Sanzo happy hour, which was packed. There was an Olipop happy hour. There was a Fly by Jing happy hour. It seemed like every other row had a happy hour going on. So it seems like this has really caught on in the last 2 years. Like I don't remember it happening in 2019 at all. But in 2021, 2022, the first year back, and then this year, tons of happy hours. So thank you for coming by. Thank you to what was it called? Was it
Startup CPG?
The Startup CPG for sure.
Right.
Thank you, Startup CPG, Daniel Scharf, the entire organization there. And there was also, I think, Coach Cotarina, or there was a certain brand name that was there with us that was serving drinks. Thank you to them.
Right.
Thank you to Arte Wellness that was serving some coffee. That was my wife, my wonderful wife, Ashley, who you got to meet in person finally.
Yep.
And I remember like, hey, how you doing? You're like, oh my God, it's her. It was
right.
funny.
Who and your guy that did all the huffing and running around.
That'd be Julio.
Julio was fantastic. Yeah, I got to meet him for the first time, and man, he was integral part of making that thing happen, because we couldn't have done it without him.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's a beast. I mean, he was getting things from the parking lot. He had he had a truck for Mela, the watermelon water, and he was storing the happy hour stuff, the tables, the bowls, the product, and he brought them all out, went through a back, like a freight area, through the back door, through a freight area to the front door, to the hall, and then brought it to our table. So that was really cool of him. And he spent hours.
I was going to say, and then we ended up, he and I ended up going back and getting more stuff before the event started. So it was a lot of work. There's no question.
Exactly. So it was fun. And thank you again for everyone. I can't name them all, but Monica Watrous, you stopped by, Gavin, I can't, it's like there's so many names you can't even name them all. We a lot of people. Kenny Hausman,
many. Derek and
Derek Brawley,
Tao, Annie, Jesse from Startup CPG, Jenny Gregory was there.
Sebastian Dreyer, he was there.
So many people.
All right. So I think next, as far as what we're going to talk about, because we're starting to run out of time here, is this whole bank fallout thing, this bank failure that happened literally while we're at Expo West. It's like everyone, like so many people were so focused on the show that no one was talking about it at the show. And then I found out on the news on Thursday. What's really ironic and funny is we bank with First Republic, which was the second bank, not a failure, but they got bailed out for $30 billion the other day. But there are a few brands that, there's a lot of tech, Silicon Valley tech brands that are tech companies that are obviously with Silicon Valley Bank. But there was also a food brand that got affected, and she posted on LinkedIn. It was called Omsom. It's Asian inspired sauces. And she's in Silicon Valley and maybe from the tech space before. And she had all her funds frozen. She couldn't take anything out, couldn't pay her employees. And she was actually asking for help through a post to get through it. I think now it's getting resolved from what I've heard. They got money to back them from a fund to get people their money that were in Silicon Valley. But I will say that a lot of people around me, one of my investors that invests in tech companies, he was on the phone for 3 days straight, helping founders to get some money to them until the money got released. Just so many people got affected by this, and including us, because we're with First Republic. I moved money out until things calm down with First Republic. First Republic, the bank that we were with, is a solid bank. They went down 80% their stock since last week. So they went through a lot of issues as well. They went down 30% today. So that makes you feel, I think it'll be resolved. This is not a finance show or something, but I think it's going to be resolved because they got 30 billion, but there's a lot of fear out there and it's sending the economy down further. So anyway, again, I know we're not experts on this, but shout out if you were affected by it or if you want us to mention anything. But Wade, I mean, are you connected with anyone that was personally affected by this or no?
No, I'm not. Thankfully that I'm not. It's just a terrible situation, and I know I saw a post. I can't think of who it was, but it was in light of everything that's going on, it was kind of lighthearted, but talking about the government and talking about the COVID impact, and then you come out of COVID, and then you got this, and by the way, now it's going to be now we're going to take away all your money, and it's just all these different things that entrepreneurs and founders have had to go through in the last 3 to 5 years, and it's just you try and make light of it because it's just a terrible situation if you're in it, and I feel terrible for all that's involved. Not good. But like, excuse me, I haven't seen too much on my timeline or feed, whatever you want to call it, with regards to it directly impacting anybody. But I know they're certainly out there. I think, to your point, I think it's definitely impacting tech more so than CPG, thankfully.
Yeah. So it kind of makes you think, right? I've never really been heavily into Bitcoin, right? This is a no script, just chat, so we're going to go in different directions, but it just makes you think. I'm going to leave it there, where $140 billion was taken out of Silicon Valley Bank, plus taken out of First Republic and all these other tech banks that are in line that lost a lot of value because people are scared. They were pretty big. I mean, Silicon Valley was the biggest, I think, arguably the biggest tech one, the biggest bank on the West Coast for tech companies. And I may be wrong, but they were up there in the top 5. That if people get scared and start taking money out of regular banks, can you imagine, right? Like if one big bank like Chase or Wells Fargo, and I hope this never happens because it would affect millions of people, but you think about it, where that's one step away, right? One step away where people collectively decide we're going to take our money out and we're going to put it in something else, another bank or Bitcoin or whatever it is. And then the bank goes bankrupt and can't repay to all the people that still have their money in there. So it's definitely woken me up to, like, I think as a business owner, it's good to have a backup bank. That's what I'm saying. if your bank has, millions of dollars in it, right, and you just raise money, I'm sure your advisors would tell you, or the VC, whoever invests in you, would probably help set this up. So maybe I'm a little naive, but it's good to have a backup bank where you can transfer funds there in case something happens to your primary bank and you can't get your funds out and you're not liquid because you got to pay your employees, right, every other week. So these are all things to think about, to remind us that it's still a very fragile system.
Yeah, without question. And the other thing that I was going to bring up, and not to change the subject, but the NCAA March Madness that's going on right now, like what a zoo that's been the last 24, 36 hours. My goodness, I think right now, as of the 5 o'clock, just before my time, just before we started the show, I think there's only 179 perfect brackets left. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, it's just the upset that's going. I don't know, Alex, you follow basketball at all or no?
Not at all.
Not at all. Well, it's no script, just chat. It's pretty insane that how crazy things have gone. If you're a betting man, you probably wouldn't be making very much on the college basketball right now. But
there's a lot of upsets that are happening, and different combinations people didn't expect, right?
Yep, exactly. I mean, it was down to like 10% after yesterday, excuse me, and it's gotten even lower after today because there was another upset today. So just a lot going on. It's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Well, make sure to check it out. And we are in March, so it's a lot of madness. There's madness, not only in basketball, but
banks and CPG and Expo, you name it. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's many reasons it's called March Madness.
That's right.
So let's go to some more comments here, because a lot of people commented on what we were just talking about. We got Jeremy Essakarian, 50 going on 25. It's funny, like when you talk to some, I think I know what this means, but I mean, it can mean, if you're old, you feel young. There's that side
Right.
to it. But it's also like, man, I'm only 25, but I work so hard. I feel like I'm 50, you know?
Right. Right.
And I talk to a lot of founders where they're like, I feel like an old man because I'm just 15 hours a day, 20 hours a day over and over. And I did a comment on LinkedIn, which is like, take some time off during the week. Seriously, like leave the office early or your virtual office at 2 p.m. on one day. Go out for a run, go out for a hike, play golf or whatever. Go out with your family. Just do something to take some time off in the middle of the week to recharge, or else you may burn out. Um, Emmanuel Schmerling. I don't recognize his name. I think he's a new guy,
Yep.
right?
It's first
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 time
time.
listener.
First
There
time.
it is. So welcome, Emmanuel. Thank you for tuning in. Again, we shout you out, and this is an example of that.
He is the founder and CEO at Milk Boy Swiss Chocolates.
Nice. He definitely has a very interesting name. So I would expect it to be a foreign European company. So Swiss Chocolates. What's the name of it? Sweet
Milk Boy.
Milk Boy. Milk
Mm-hmm.
Boy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and then his comment, first time listener here, enjoying this post show review. As an exhibitor, North Hall, agree would be much more efficient if more halls were open on Wednesday, relieve some of that pressure in North Hall. Monica Watrous, Holly was popping. Tia Franzone, Holly was bustling. Yeah, I was like, it's almost like I was intimidated to go in there. I was like, if I go in there, I may not come out.
Right.
I may have to get an Airbnb in someone's booth. That's how tired I am.
Maybe next Expo you're going to need private security, Alex.
Exactly. Yeah. I think Bilal, that guy's pretty big.
There you go.
If someone comes too close, he just throws a flatbread at you,
Right.
Throws it in your mouth. That's a funny visual right there. I think Bilal's going to do that now. He's going to do a slingshot next year. I could see him doing that. Hey, you over there. You get ready for some deliciousness.
Right.
Pockets Chocolates is the best. I got to say, man, Chris Young, who's a really good friend of mine, he lives in Pasadena. Such a hard worker, so damn nice, so humble, no ego, and has a great fucking product. So make sure to support him. That's what we're all about on the show, supporting community. Go to Pocket Chocolate. Startup CPG, thank you guys. We love you. Daniel, you're the man. Ali Rally was popping. It was great. I got there 2 hours late, by the way. I was there after once the party already got started.
Right.
I got there so late, people weren't even bowling anymore. They were just drinking and having fun. And if they were bowling, the ball was not going in the right direction. So a couple more. Crypto's been increasing quite a bit lately. Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's the fears of the banks. Julie Elder, crazy. Always bet on the underdog. Chuck Cassano. That's going to be in reference to March Madness and Alan Cutler. And I want to say too, I met Adam Brown for the first time in person at Expo, so that was cool.
It's funny. I have a small list of people that I expected to see, and Adam was on that list, and I had to give him a hard time because we got an Ohio State Michigan thing going on between us, and I gave him a hard time because I got to spend some time with Mark there, but I did not get to see Adam, and so he owes me a trip to North Carolina is how I left it with him because he's on the East Coast here, so I think he's overdue for a visit down here. I'll remind him if I don't see him before when we do the show with him here in a few weeks. I'll have to remind him of that
for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of like fun little ribbing and rivalries going on between Wade and Adam. It's becoming pretty epic, where it's been carried for quite a while now, right? For at least a year.
Yeah. But I was gonna say I got pictures with Melissa Pashko with J Street Consulting. I
saw that.
Yep. With Derek and Michael Movitz at the Startup CPG event. There's several group pictures with Derek and the crew at the Startup CPG. Erica with Brodo. Mark with Iwan. Oh my gosh, Bilal. The list goes on and on and on. So just very memorable event, and very thankful for being a part of such a fantastic community. It felt really good.
Totally. It makes you really feel like like we got like the crew now. These are
Yep.
all, you walk in, you see them. We know each other. We know what we're up to. It feels very, very tight knit, and it's very different from my first year. I'm going to Expo West, where I didn't know shit. I didn't know anyone. I was just, will anyone talk with me? Except, the only people talking to me were those giving me samples.
Right.
But the first person that I met, which I need to give a shout out to, is Justin Prochnow. He's a lawyer that does, he reviews labels and packaging to make sure they're FDA compliant. I met him, and then he introduced me to Sean Sugarman, who's another guy in the juice industry. That's his name. That's his real name. And then he introduced me to BevNet, Sean Sugarman. So like just a couple degrees, I met John, and it's funny. We'll move to the next segment in a second, but John's like, I gave him a shot, right? And out of my cooler, like, this new line we're working on. And he's like, just like 9 years ago, you had a cooler with your smoothies, and I'm like, yep, going back to my roots, right? I'm, never humble enough to go back to getting my hands dirty again, going out and selling, having a cooler on the floor. That's just who I am. I'm a grinder. Just
Right
I
on.
think me and Mark are like very similar. We just grind it out, work really hard, and put ourselves all over LinkedIn and podcasting.
Right. Well, and before I forget to, I have to at least mention I did get to have dinner with Jimbo's crew on Wednesday night, so very appreciative of that. That was a lot of fun seeing so many familiar faces there, and got to also prior to that spend some time with Cameron McCarthy, the We Stock group. Did a little event, happy hour Wednesday evening. So I got to see several of the buyers and the team from Thrive, the folks from BevNet, Ray Latif, and some others. I'm trying to think who else I saw there. Jonathan Lawrence. My goodness, who else? Just a number of people. It was a really, really tight event as far as, because they had some celebrities. It was really centered around some of the brands that either have celebrity founders and or have celebrity partners or whatnot. So it was a pretty packed event, but I definitely need to mention those people as well. And I see LinkedIn user here. That's Scott Hartman. I did get to see Scott for a little bit on Thursday, I think. So the list goes on, and I'm sure I'm leaving some people out, and that's not intentional, but what a great time.
For sure. All right. So we're going to go to our next segment here, which is called Stuff We Love. And then right after that, we're going to go into our sponsor, which is Nellie's Organic, delicious chocolate bars, organic. She sent me some samples. Did you get your samples of Nellie's?
I did. I've not got to try them yet. They are in the fridge, though, as we speak.
Yeah. As Wade alluded to, they are refrigerated bars. So that's our sponsor, which is also coincidentally what I also love. This is the Nutty Nougat, which has peanuts and nuts, raw cashews, 100% organic, really good. They have a coconut one, which is shocker, is my favorite, which has chocolate with coconut shreds in it, or coconut shavings. Really, really good. There it is, Nellie's Organic. Other things that I love, speaking of chocolate bars, Honey Mamas, Peruvian Raw, excellent. I've mentioned this one before. I don't know if they were at the show or not. I didn't see them, but I just love this brand. Love Corn. Incredible.
Yeah, they sent me a box, and yeah, I'm an old school corn nuts guy.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm a fan for sure.
Yeah, they kind of took corn nuts, which wasn't healthy, and they made it healthy. I mean, there's only 3 ingredients: corn, sunflower oil, and sea salt. And it's very lightly oiled. It's not oily at all. And it's dropped it here. And it's non-GMO. So it's very, very healthy. On sale at Ralph's if you're in Southern California. The other one that I really like, because I'm a big fan of chocolate, love chocolate bars, is the Dr. Bronner's Magic Bars. Have you had these? I think you have, right? Oh, you're on mute.
We had brought those in Jimbo's before I left, and yeah, we have them here as well. So
yeah, these are good. So they're fair trade, I believe. Yeah, they're organic, fair for life, and they have that Dr. Bronner's look. A bunch of writing on the front. You can't really read anything, but it's good.
Right.
All right. How about you?
I'm only going to show one because I've got some I'll save for later, and I haven't tried the Nellies yet, although I'm sure I'm going to like it. But I got these, and I'm guessing you probably did too in the mail.
I did. The Papadelics. Yeah.
Yes. So crunchy mushroom chips. So I like the branding. Papadelics crunchy mushroom chips, trippin' truffle parm, rad rosemary and salt, and the other one's called twisted Thai chili. And gluten-free, vegan, non-GMO, all that good stuff. Good product. It's just dried shiitake mushrooms. I think they're using shiitake in all three, if I'm not mistaken. They've got some organic ingredients. Good product. We've been munching on those, and like I said, I have several other that I'm working on, but I'll save those for next week and the weeks beyond because I don't have them in front of me, and some of them I haven't tried yet. So more to come.
Cool. It's smart, man. You're pacing yourself. When I showed 4 products today, I could have saved that for a month, but I couldn't resist because I freaking love them so much.
Right on.
It's my story. I'm sticking to it. All right.
Oh, you know what? I have to. I'm sorry. I forgot one person and I will show you maybe next week. One person at the show, excuse me, that I forgot to mention was Sean Lynch with Liquid Death.
Yeah.
He hooked me up with this sweet jersey, Liquid Death jersey that's just awesome. And I would have worn it today if it wasn't St. Patrick's Day. I've got to have green on. But next week I'll bust out that jersey. And Sean, that it goes without saying that the marketing they do and the advertising they do, they had such an awesome. Did you make it? Were you there at all or no? In that hall, I don't know my numbers and letters well enough.
No, whatever hall it was, I saw the Liquid Death characters walking around, like the headless guy with like the the axe or whatever, but I did not see their booth. I think I was scared I might have been beheaded if I went to their booth.
Yeah, they had a tremendous spread there, and Sean hooked me up. So shout out to Sean and the whole team there. So I'll rock that thing next week so everybody can check it out.
Nice. Good stuff. All right, so our next segment with our sponsor Nelly's Organic is called Friday Freebies.
Friday Freebies.
All right, so first we got to mention our long-term sponsor, V-Driven, and we got a little, a lot of stuff to cover today, so we didn't mention them in the beginning, so we're going to mention them very clearly at the end because people are on right now. They want to win. Nelly's Organic. They're hanging out. They love us, obviously, but they love chocolate even more. But V-Driven, Luke Abbott, he's a CEO and founder. A little bit about V-Driven, who is our long-term sponsor. They're a CPG partner for emerging purpose-driven brands. They fuel growth and innovation by providing strategies and support in every phase of the retail journey, from leadership coaching, brand management, accounting, sales strategy to day-to-day tactical support. They can be the end-to-end solution for brands' business needs. Their leadership team has decades of real-life experience in all the key areas of the business and know what it takes to help brands succeed. They also do CFO-type services or accounting services. They do deduction management where they fight deductions for you. They're super affordable, super nice people. Luke Abbott is as mentioned, the CEO. So it's luke.abbott@vdriven.com. And then as Wade posted, V-Driven, V as in velocity, driven, DRIVEN.com. That is them. Thank you for sponsoring us.
Yeah, and I thought I typed it in there, but I guess it didn't show up. But regardless, I was talking to somebody who will remain anonymous today, but we talked a little bit about Luke and V-Driven, and just I was listening and obviously agreeing, but he's just like, man, Luke is just a great guy, and he certainly is, and he's such a good friend of the show. This an ongoing sponsor, as you mentioned, and certainly knows his stuff. So I can't recommend V-Driven and Luke highly enough. And if you doubt it, just reach out and chat, and you'll find out real quickly. They know he and his team know what they're talking about, and can certainly help emerging brands with a lot of different areas of their business. So so moving on from Luke and V-Driven to this week's sponsor, which Alex kind of showed already, and I'm sure he still has it in front of him. But that's excuse me, Nelly's. and I hope I get this name right. Carla Spiropulo. Does that sound right?
I'm going to say it's
Spiropulo?
Carla Spiropolo.
Spiropolo. Okay.
Spiropolo.
I'm going to say Carla S, just to stay consistent with anybody that not sure about the last name. Carla S.
Just like David C. Same thing.
Exactly. So they're giving a a mixed case, which is 36 bars.
Insane.
That's
Insane.
a lot. That's a lot. That's a month plus worth of bars. That's
for me, 1 week.
Yeah, for you, 1 week. And it's roughly $100 value. So that's a big deal. But as Alex mentioned a little bit about, Nellie's bars were born out of a desire to help make a difference in the way people eat. Their plant-based bars are delicious chocolate-covered snacks that Carla stands behind 100%. Products that are better for people, animals, and our planet. Nellie'sOrganics.com. I think I put that up already, right? So
you did.
Good. So
I'll find it. Yeah. So there it is. Boom. Nellie'sOrganics.com, and they're sold in Sprouts. They're sold in Whole Foods. They're sold in a ton of natural stores. She's been in the business for 11 years, so it shows she knows what she's doing. They have, I think, they're based in the Valley in California, so they're right here in our backyard, my backyard, I should say. So wait, I do have a question to ask. That's medium difficulty, but if you have something that's even harder, I'm going to give it to you. And you're on mute again. Yeah,
because I was going to say I've been coughing a little bit here and there, and I've been trying to keep that from everyone. But
I think you need an assistant on to mute your mic.
Right, mute. Maybe that's the next thing we get from V Driven. But no, you go right ahead. I don't have a question ready.
It's really easy. The first day when I showed up, there was I'll give a clue. I showed up early. What time did I show up at?
Ooh.
It's pretty might be a weird number though. Maybe it's not, maybe it is. But it was let's just say earlier than the opening of the doors.
I think we might get this one pretty quick, actually.
It's going to be so freaking quick. I think it's going to be like a record. I'm unfortunately not able to see the comments live. I'm seeing them as a delay. All right, no one has gotten it yet. Rich Monez, no cigar, no Nellies.
Wait for that delay, Alex.
Alan Cutler, he got it.
Nice.
So I did say a few hours early, but maybe I said 3 hours, and that was part of me tricking people. But I did say the words 8:30 a.m. in the episode. If I didn't, you can get mad at me later. But 8:30 a.m. is when I rolled in with my car to the parking structure, and they looked at me like, "What the hell are you doing?" I guess people were there. I mean, I got there really early on Thursday because I did the workout with Mark Samuel at the park. So I rode in at 6:45 a.m. and then I walked to the park to do the morning workout with Mark and a big group. And then Mark gave me a ride back to Expo West. So
that's cool. Awesome. That's great.
Yeah. First time in Mark's car. Milestone. His car has a lot of protein powder and a lot of IWAN in it. I can say that much. So, Alan, make sure to email FridayVibes100@gmail.com, and we will hook you up. We'll connect you with Carla, and we will get that prize over to you. So next week, no guest, right? But we're gonna just us. If you like us, tune in. If you don't like us, tune in. Our sponsor is going to be Whims, right? The chocolate snacks, right? The chocolate snacks, I believe.
I think that's right.
And that's Jesse Baruch. He sent me some product. It's delicious, and that's why we brought him on. Again, if you want to be a sponsor, if you want to be a guest, email FridayVibes100@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. Give us 5 stars. 5 stars. We're at 78. Get us to 100. Please, please, please. Some remaining comments. Rich Monez. Congrats, Alan. No one's getting mad. It's Friday Vibes. Yuval, and also I saw Yuval. I just, yeah, CP Genius. CP Genius.
That's right.
That's a great name. We like that name. We like that
We did
name.
like that name.
So, but he got it. He got the name. So, and he copyrighted it too. So it's his. It's his. You got it. You won. So he does a cool service that you can just find out more about. Make sure to message Yuval. I won't say too much about it because if you want me to say more, you got to sponsor the show.
That's right.
Yeah. So great seeing you too at the Alley Rally. Daniel Scharf, my man, Startup CPG. Happy Friday, everyone. Alan, good to see you, and congratulations on winning. And then you've all hashtag CP Genius. There we go. I like the word genius. I don't know why. It's here too. All right, so that is our show. Wade, weekend plans, and then we're going to end.
Well, I'm fixing to go out and try and celebrate St. Pat's a little bit, and then probably low key. Other than that, we are going to probably spend some time working on the house and getting caught up from being gone. So yeah, nothing big planned. How about you?
Tomorrow I have another golf tournament. This one, it's usually they're on Saturdays. That's why the one last week on Friday kind of upset me because it was raining on top of that. But I have a golf tournament in Downey, beautiful city of Downey, California, and at a very hard golf course. It's called Best Ball. So you have two players and you both hit the ball, and whoever has the better ball, you play from that ball. So it's kind of like, Tiger Woods and his son. They did that
Right,
with Best Ball.
right.
I know I'll be playing my partner's ball much more than my own for sure, knowing how I play. And then today is a daddy, mommy, and me class. I'll be going to that right after this.
Nice.
Yep.
Don't be late for that, by the way.
Don't be like, yeah, I'm late for a lot of things in life, but family. I mean, that's a non-negotiable. Got to be there on time. I'm going to leave an hour early. I'm going to leave right after this. It starts in an hour, and I will get sidetracked on the way, but I'll get there on time.
Smart man.
And then Sunday, just spending time with family. So good seeing you, and awesome hanging out in person and walking the show a little bit. And yeah, everyone take good care, be safe. Just try to ignore, or at least tolerate all the craziness going on right now with the banking system. Just, have fun, have a great weekend. And we will see you Friday next week, 2:30 p.m. Pacific, 5:30 Eastern, same place, same time, same LinkedIn. And everyone take good care. Love you, brother.
Love you, buddy. See ya.